All right. So this is the RPM packaging project update. I'm going to use this session to tell you a little bit about what this project is all about and talk about some of the things that we did last cycle and are hoping to accomplish in the next cycle and in the future. My name's Colleen. I'm a cloud developer at SUSE. I'm the newest core reviewer for this project. So let's get started. So what is the RPM packaging project? What's it supposed to do? The idea behind it is it's supposed to be a cross-distribution, cross-vendor way of creating templates for RPM spec files for any kind of RPM-based Linux distro or OpenStack distro. It was founded during the Liberty release. The idea, of course, was to unify the efforts that RDO and SUSE were doing for creating RPM packaging, or RPM packages, but it's open to anyone who wants to contribute RPM packages, including things like Starling X or any other RPM-based distro, or any other operators who want to have independent RPM packages. And the idea behind it was to build up this central repository of spec files that could just combine the efforts and reduce the duplication that we were doing for all these RPM packages. Also, sort of as a side effect, it ended up being a good place to share patches for projects that had either already gone end of life, or now that we have extended maintenance, it's still useful for projects that reach the end of their extended maintenance period. Some of the components are involved in this project. The main one is, of course, the RPM packaging repository itself. That is the central hub for all of the spec file templates that we use to generate these RPM packages. RPM packaging tools is just a way of having a dashboard that sort of gives us a visualization of when we need to be doing these package updates and when these need to be updated and coordinate with what happens with the upstream projects. PyMod2 package is a way to translate things from the upstream project names to the actual RPM package names. And then we have this library called renderspec, which is our way of rendering these Jinja2 spec file templates into native RPM specs for each distribution. And I'll go into that here. So it's just our way of making sure that we can have a common template that will, once it's rendered, actually be useful and useful for each kind of distribution. So resolves the difference in package names or resolves any kind of different policies that we might have between distributions, things having to do with how the licensing is supposed to work or things like that. And so reduces the number of RPM macros that we have within the spec file once it's generated. So some of the things we did in Stein, we're always adding new spec file templates to generate packages for more projects. So we did new services, new clients. We did a bunch of Oslo libraries, a bunch of new Tempest plugins, and a lot of Horizon dependencies this cycle. And we also did our part, or tried to do our part for the Python 3 First community goal, making sure that all of our packages work with Python 3 by using this single spec concept to make sure that packages are generated for both Python 2 and Python 3. And then we made sure that all of our CI is run with Python 3. So all of our linters and our documentation builders and all of that uses Python 3. And one of the goals that we had for this project when it first started, and something we'd still like to do, is do some cross-project gating and actually have better collaboration between the upstream projects and the packages we're building. And we'd like to do that by adding CI jobs to these upstream projects and build new packages on every commit. And beyond that, of course, we'd also like to be packaging more projects. We don't yet have all of the OpenStack projects packaged, and we also need to be keeping up with all the projects that keep getting added. So those are all the things that we're going to be continuing to work on. And we would love for more help with these things. Of course, adding new packages for new projects, or adding packages or spec file templates, rather, for existing projects. And then help with keeping these things up to date. There's a little bit of a manual process with keeping these packages up to date. Some of it could be better automated, but a lot of it is just going to be going and manually resolving some of these issues that come up when upstream projects change the way that their project is built or how their unit tests are run or those type of things. And then we'd love help building out this goal of CI and cross-project gating. That's something that we would love to get more involvement from upstream projects in. And these are ways that you could help get involved if you like. These are the ways to get in touch with us. We have an IRC channel. It's OpenStack RPM packaging. You can reach us also through the OpenStack Discuss mailing list. And we have weekly meetings on Wednesdays in our IRC channel. All right, that is all I had prepared. Are there any questions that I can answer at this point? Yes?
Do you guys strictly focus on packaging the actual Python modules associated directly with the project, or do you also focus on some of the dependencies if they aren't available as RPMs in distro-based repositories, for example?
So the question I'll repeat was, do we just focus on the OpenStack projects, or do we also focus on the OpenStack dependencies? Did I get that right? So no, in this project, we only package the OpenStack projects themselves, and we rely on the vendors, SUSE and RDO, to take care of the dependencies themselves. This one? Yeah. Any other questions? All right, if you do have any other questions, you can get in touch with us. So thank you very much.